Good.
Well, you have reached Freaky Fitness, our YouTube station. Joanna and I would like to introduce IFBB Elite Pro Jonathan Reed, and we're going to talk about his career and a bunch of other things.
Hi.
Hey.
Yay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I want to know what you did, like sports stuff growing up and things like that help you evolve into the bodybuilder you are now.
Okay, so I grew up playing baseball as a center fielder. Played baseball from the age of 5 to high school, and actually had to get try out for a team and didn't quite make it. So that was awesome. But ultimately, I started lifting weights because of a girl. So
I didn't hear any of this stuff.
Age-old story. It happened as I was 12 years old. I told my best friend, and he's my best man in my wedding. So if you know who that is, you know who it is. He told him I have a crush on a girl, our neighbor, and he said, okay, cool. He asked her out that same day. I said, well, in my 12-year-old mind, I'm gonna get bigger than you, right? And so that night, I went to my parents' house in the basement, and I started lifting the sand weights, and got super sore and thought I was the strongest guy in the world at that point. But over time, that's developed from the crush faded, and the passion for lifting weights was born. That kind of translated through high school and on into my adult life, and I just kind of kept lifting weights since 1992. So.
I want you to tell us about your military career, because that's, to me, even more important than any of this bodybuilding type stuff.
Okay, so in 1998, I graduated high school, and I joined the Army, and I went to MCC for a semester, and a recruiter approached me, and my father kind of encouraged me to get out of the house a little bit, so there was a little bit of peer pressure to get out. But the Army came and they talked to me, and I wanted to, this is another crazy story, right? So I joined the Army because I wanted a car, right? Specifically a Trans Am. And the Army gave me $6,000 to do that. So it's very simple, right? Like, I like a girl, I want to work out, I want a car, I joined the Army, right? And so I joined the Army in 1999, and
Bought the Trans Am?
I bought the Trans Am. I bought the Trans Am, but the Trans Am was expensive to keep. Ended up selling it in 2004. Anyway, long story short, I joined for 10 years. I was enlisted, and then while I was in the Army, I went to school, got a couple of degrees, became an officer, which I am today, and so here I am at almost 20 years of service. And while I was in, I started the competitions. They offered that in Korea while I was stationed in Korea. Started my bodybuilding career officially in Korea, winning 4 competitions throughout Korea. They sent me to Japan. I competed in Japan, won in Japan, and then I came back stateside, where I started doing natural bodybuilding, starting with the INBF, and then translating into the SNBF down in Georgia, where I was stationed. And then I subsequently did the Mr. America with the NGA, the National Muscle Association, did some stuff with the IFPA, did some stuff with the WPA and the IPE throughout the years. So I competed in a wealth of natural organizations because I wholeheartedly believe in natural bodybuilding. I mean, I'm a purist, and I appreciate folks who, like Joe and Joanne, who appreciate natural bodybuilding for what it is. And so I'm here. I support Joe. Anytime I come home, I come and visit Joe in his gym, and we kind of talk about natural bodybuilding and bodybuilding in general. And
we can talk for hours about that stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, about the pros and the cons, and you name it.
The gossip in the bodybuilding community, and what's on RX Muscle, and you name it.
Yeah, you know it. So we talk about that, and so when he promotes shows, I always I see if my calendar will allow me to do the show, and it was probably kind of branch into like what we just did.
Sure.
Yeah, let's kind of go back to like the IFBPA.
Yeah.
And how you got started in that organization.
Sure.
So, and the thing about this guy is he does his research. He's not just jumping in anything, thinking, I think I'm going to do a show. He will memorize the code and conduct of the organization, and that's got to be a military thing, because I don't do that. And he'll know exactly what he's doing, walking into these shows.
Yeah, so one of the things that the IFBB, so first of all, if you're a bodybuilding fan or lift weights or any kind of enthusiast, right, the organization IFBB should mean something to you, right? And so when the IFBB Physique America, I got an email back in January saying the IFBB Physique America, right, which got my attention immediately. I was like, well, what is this, right? And they're talking about drug testing. I was like, so I got drug testing and IFBB in the same, like, I was like, holy smoke. So yeah, an instant attention, right? And I started kind of going through, looking at websites. I would check their website every day to see if there are any changes, right? And I look through their their rules, their classes, what's going on with that, because I wanted to understand what am I getting myself into. Is it going to be worth it? Because like I said, I'm a 100% natural guy, so I want to see what I'm doing. And then I kind of see Joe comes up as hey, I'm doing a show sponsored by the IFBB Physique America. And I was like, wait, okay, cool. So Joe's on board. I got some folks from back home, Jim Raquel, some folks that I know. I'm like, yeah, these guys are on board with this thing, and these are bodybuilding purists, in my opinion, right? Like, I've talked to a lot of folks, and there's a lot of fad guys out there, but Joe and Jim Raquel, specifically in Rochester, when I come home and talk to them, they're bodybuilding purists. Like, I like the golden era bodybuilding. That's just kind of who I am. And these guys here, they appreciate that. They value that. And so when they start talking about putting on shows that are drug tested, that are in the IFBB name, I'm all about it. So this new organization, IFBB Physique America, it's legit, right?
So you turn pro